Okay, sit yourself onto a lift and then come into a good cross-legged position. Oh, Zoom keeps on popping things up all. No, I don't want AI recordings. Right. So just sit yourself onto a lift. Just come into a good cross-legged position. And just initially just assess your balance of the seat bones, balance at the feet. Hold onto your knees and elevate the heart area upwards. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Look down at the floor. Look at something that doesn't move. Soften your jaw. Soften your tongue. Soften your throat. And acknowledge that when you soften your tongue, you soften around the eyes, around the forehead. Focus on filling the lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying your lungs from the top to the bottom. Release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste. Press the palms firmly together, lengthen from your armpits into your elbows. And with an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. Fill your lungs from the bottom to the top and empty your lungs from the top to the bottom. Gently draw your chin down to meet your chest, lengthening the shoulders away from your ears. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area. And then release the backs of your hands down toward your knees. Your palms facing upwards. Raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Hold on to your knees, and elevate the heart area upwards, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Just gently and just with sensitivity to how you're feeling this morning, bring the chin down to meet the chest. Consciously lengthening your shoulders down away from your ears. Lift the chest up to meet the chin so you make good contact between the chin and the chest. Take a deep inhalation and with an exhalation raise the chin forwards and up to the ceiling. Again, just working with sensitivity of your body this morning. Feeling the stretch of the front of the neck. Again, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Take a deep inhalation and then bring the chin forwards and down to meet the chest. Drawing your shoulders away from your ears. Lifting the heart area up towards the chest. Heart area up towards the chin. Drawing your shoulders away from your ears to stretch out the back of the neck. And then with an exhalation, wherever that comes, raise the chin up to the ceiling. Just working with sensitivity of your own body's response. And then come back to the centre. Take a deep inhalation and with an exhalation draw the right ear over towards the right ear, stretching out the left side of the neck. Again, just working with the sensitivity of your own body. Just acknowledging what your body wants to do. As you bring your head over to the side, observe the balance of the seat bones. Do you roll onto the right seat bone more heavily than the left? Just adjust the torso so that the seat bones remain even. Take a good deep inhalation. Come back to the centre with the exhalation. And then over to the left. So we're not bringing the ear all the way down to the shoulder, but we're trying. We're not lifting the shoulder to meet the ear, we're just lifting the chest. Drawing the right shoulder and the left shoulder down away from the ceiling. Just feeling the stretch on the right side of the neck. Feeling the balance of the seat bones. Adjusting if we've gone out of line. Take a conscious inhalation, come back to the centre and one more time over to the left. Sorry, to the right, to the right side. And then with an exhalation back to the centre and over to the left. And with an exhalation, gently come back to the centre. Hold on to your knees, lift up into your chest. And take a deep inhalation. With the exhalation, turn the torso from the left to the right, but keep the chin directly in line with the chest. So you're not turning the neck, you're turning the abdomen, the ribs the shoulders. Just observe how the turn feels for you this morning, how it feels for your body. Sometimes it feels really good to just release the body into a turn. Sometimes you'll find resistance. So acknowledge what your body is, how your body is responding right now. And work in sympathy with the physical body. Come back to the centre. Take a deep inhalation. On the exhalation, turn to the left, drawing your abdomen across your ribs, across your shoulders, across. And then come back to the centre. Come off your lift, come down onto your knees, sit back on your heels, big toes together, your knees apart, wriggle into the inner heels. So wriggle the seat bones or the outer buttock flesh into the inner heels. Press the shins into the floor. Just let the body sink into the ground initially. Just let the body just sink into the legs. Let the legs sink into the floor. Now that feels nice, perhaps, but a little energyless. Just that sinking action is kind of reassuring, but not particularly energizing. So I want you to consciously push your shin bones into the shin skin so that the thighs activate, and so that you can, when the thighs are activated, you can activate the spine, lifting the heart area to the ceiling, keeping the shoulders away from your ears. And then come forwards, lengthening forwards, hinging at the hips, keeping the head lifted as you come forwards. Just wriggling into the hips, keeping the seat bones down on the heels if you possibly can. And then finally bringing the forehead down. Stretching out of the spine. Keeping the tailbone down on the heels. Lengthening from the armpits into the elbows. Lengthening from the hips into the armpits. Hips, armpits, elbows, wrists, palms, fingers, fingertips, fingernails. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Raise your head. Just come up onto your fingertips and lift the chest. And then we're just going to walk our hands over to the right side. Try and keep the seat bones down. They'll probably not stay down, but aim to keep them down. Keep reaching deeply into that left arm, feeling that left side of the torso deeply extend. Walk your hands back to the centre, stay on the fingertips, and then walk your hands over to the left, just staying up on the fingertips, lengthening deeply into that right side of the torso, just feeling the release of really deep extension. And then walk your hands back to the centre, push the hands into the floor, sit back down on the heels really firmly, and then extend your arms away. Breathe even, deep inhalations and exhalations. Lift your head, keep your right hand where it is, and then thread the left arm underneath the right armpit. Bring the shoulder down, bring your head down, press the left arm really firmly into the floor. Press the left arm into the floor and then roll the chest down to the floor. Breathing even deep inhalations and exhalations. And then release, come back into Adho Mukha Virasana, just stretching out. And then lift the head, stretch the left arm away, slide the right arm underneath the left armpit, bring the right shoulder down, bring your head down, and then roll the chest down into the floor, opening up that area between the shoulder blades, pushing your right arm really firmly into the floor. And then lift the head and then extend your arms away. Come back into Adho Mukha Virasana, just lengthening into the tailbone region. Keeping the seat bones down on the heels if you possibly can. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Push your forehead firmly into the ground. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and then push yourself up into a seated position. Just observe how you have released your energy, how your energy has changed just from those floor stretches. How there's energy in the chest and around the shoulders and around the neck. And then just gently draw your chin over towards the right shoulder. Just working with sensitivity to your body this morning, working in empathy with your own physical body. Come back to the centre and bring the chin across to the left. So working in empathy with the body, identifying what the ego is doing, as in making you really want to push further, but what the physical body wants to do. So sometimes the ego is strong and it's like, go on, push a bit further. Sometimes it's lazy, it doesn't want to do it at all. So try and just feel what the physical body tells you. Come back to the centre, just bring the chin over to the right side one more time. So just observe the physical body, observe your energy. That supersedes the ego. So without the ego, we wouldn't do anything. So obviously it's got its purpose. Come back to the centre and over to the left. But we don't want to necessarily listen to it too much when we are practicing our yoga. We want to listen to the physical body instead. We want to listen to the breath. Just acknowledging and accepting what the body will do today. Bring your head back to the centre. Come up onto all fours, have your hands as wide apart as your mat. Turn your toes under and then come up into dog down, just feeling that welcome stretch at the backs of the legs, straightening the legs, tightening the kneecaps. Turning the fronts of your thighs inwards. Just listening to the sound of the breath. Let the neck be soft. Let the head hang down. Focus on filling the lungs from the bottom to the top. Spend time inside the pose, observing the responses of the physical body. So when we're new to yoga, everything feels just maybe lots of discomfort. Everything feels uncomfortable. But as we get used to the feeling of the stretch, we begin to crave that sensation of intensity. It changes our perception of good pain. Doesn't change our perception of bad pain. That should always be listened to and responded to and acknowledged. But good pain is just that sensation of extension. So we accept that. Keep your hands where they are, keep your feet where they are, and swing your hips forwards, come up into dog up. Turn the crease of the elbows to face the front. Keep the legs straight, keep the legs away from the floor, but push really consciously into the heels. Push into your heels and then lengthen the abdomen forwards towards the diaphragm, towards the collarbone, towards the chin. And then come back up into dog down. So the hands are as wide apart as the mat, the feet are as wide apart as the mat. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And then come down onto your knees. Again, just sit back on your heels. And acknowledge how the body feels after those initial poses. Just listen to the breath, focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations, feeling that lightness of energy that arises from our practice. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And then come onto all fours again. Turn the toes under. Have your hands shoulder width apart this time. Have your feet hip width apart. And then come up again into dog down. Let the head hang down. So if you feel like you're coming down with something, inverting the body is a really beneficial action. So we can use dog down as well as things like sukhasana and shoulder stand to help boost the immune system. But if you've got a stiff neck, then you should probably avoid sukhasana. I mean, you shouldn't really put too much weight on your head anyway, but you don't want to necessarily put yourself in the situation where that could happen. Same with shoulder stand. So dog down can become a really good positive inversion sensation. It's really good for the liver and for the kidneys. It gives us insight into the breath. Turn your left toes in slightly and then step your front foot forward so that the front foot comes between the two legs. It's between the two hands, sorry, not legs. So the front leg, the right leg is forwards. Bring the right hand onto the hip, onto the shin. Sorry, I'm getting my words wrong. Bring the right hand onto the shin, the left hand onto the hip, and then turn the chest to face the front. So we're not twisting it, so we're just turning into trikonasana shape. Turning the chest, rotating that top shoulder, reaching up with the top arm. So keeping that front leg straight, tightening the kneecap of that front leg. Looking up. If you've got a stiff neck, then just look forwards or look down, both of which give some relief into the neck. Okay, then bring the top hand down onto the inside, onto the big toe side of the foot. Bring the other hand down onto the little toe side of the foot. Turn that back leg a little, and then step back into dog down. Now you'll feel a little uneven in the hips because we've only done one side, but just acknowledge that unevenness. So let's address it. Turn the right toes in. Step the left foot between the two hands. Straighten that front leg. Bring the left hand onto the hip. Bring the left hand onto the shin. The right hand onto the hip this time, and turn the chest. So we come up into trikonasana, keeping both legs really straight. Turning that front leg from the inside out. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then bring the top hand down, back onto the big toe side of the foot. Bring the other hand onto the little toe side of the foot. Turn the back leg. And then step yourself back into dog down. Let the head hang down. Just observe the feeling of the physical body, how those hips feel, maybe a little more even this time. Focus on feeling the lungs from the bottom to the top. Okay, come down onto your knees, sit back on your heels, and then just sit back on the heels and lift the chest again. Observe the energy that you have released through your practice. Just listen to the breath. Okay, and then just come into cross legs. You can sit directly on the floor, or if that makes you kind of drop, makes you sink in the chest, then sit on a folded blanket. Just give yourself a little lift on a folded blanket. Have a block either side of the hips, or just have one on the right side if you've only got one block. And then just sit yourself in cross legs, hands on the knees, lift up into the chest. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then reach underneath the right knee, bring the right elbow down onto the block. Have that elbow directly underneath the shoulder. So you might have to move the block if it's too close. Bring the left hand onto the hip and then turn the chest. Now at this stage you probably feel like all of your seat bone weight is on the right seat bone, so push that right elbow really hard into the floor and then lengthen across into that left seat bone so that the seat bones feel even. Turn the chest up to face the ceiling. Keep that left seat bone really firmly down onto the floor. And then lengthen a straight arm over your head, looking underneath the armpit. Keeping that seat bone pressing, keeping that left seat bone pressing down really consciously into the floor. The more you press the left seat bone down into the floor, the more stretch you get along that abdominal wall, along the side ribs. So really work that left seat bone into the ground. Come back to the centre, hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest. Just feel the energy around the torso. Maybe it feels kind of left side centric. Bend your left elbow, bring your left elbow onto the block, grip underneath the left knee, and then bring your right hand onto your hip, push that left elbow really firmly into the floor, and then lengthen across into that right seat bone. Press that right seat bone down. Turn the chest up to face the ceiling. Really work to press that right seat bone down into the floor, and then lift up and over. Keeping the arms straight. Keeping that right seat bone really consciously pressing down into the floor. So sukhasana. Always feels great to lengthen out the side abdominal wall and those side ribs. Press that right seat bone firmly down so that the seat bones feel more level, using that left elbow as the leverage, whatever. Come back to the centre, hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. So if you've got a bad back, you might want to avoid this next stage, or bring some blocks in front to just so that you bring the floor up a little. I want you to really lift from the abdomen to the diaphragm up to the collarbone, and then if there's no problems with stretching forwards, I want you to keep coming forwards, lifting into the chin and the chest. And then you create a couple of fists for your hands and then rest your forehead down. But if you can reach down to the floor, then do. If you can't reach to the floor, then just use enough blocks until you can. Bring the forehead down onto the floor. Keep the seat bones down, they will want to lift. So push the elbows into the floor and lengthen into the seat bones. Similarly to pushing the elbow into the floor for the seat bones in sukhasana. So push yourself back. You might not be able to push your elbows into the floor. So if you can't, then just try and draw the tailbone down to the floor. Try and lengthen your weight into the back of the seat bones. Just swap the piling of the fists, have the other fist on top of the other. Focusing on the breath. The breath will feel different because the abdomen maybe feels a little restricted. Okay, lift your head and then come back up into cross legs. Just observe the quietness of the brain that comes from forward bending. Okay, we're going to do a couple of restorative poses. So you want a block for your head and a blanket over the top of that block. That will feel comfortable. Then have a bolster. If you've got an oblong bolster, then I prefer an oblong bolster for this, but don't worry if you haven't. If you haven't got a bolster, you can just use some cushions, and have a blanket as well, because we'll be staying still. So just make sure that you can be warm. So have socks on, or put some, just cover yourself up with a blanket. So you're going to bend your knees, and the bolster is on the left side of you, and then you're going to lengthen this left side out along the floor, and then the bolster comes into the armpit chest, and then bring the shoulder down. Keep your hand in a little right angle, and then find the block with your head. See, the legs stay bent. This is a restorative pose is a relaxation pose. We don't consciously extend. But then you just stretch the top arm over your ear, and then let the arm just rest over your ear. So this is our side lying restorative yoga stretch. So just make sure that you're covered for warmth, and then rest down with the top arm over your head. If it's uncomfortable for your shoulder, then you can put a block underneath your upper hand. So we're going to stay here for a couple of minutes, and then we'll do the other side. So don't try to extend, try to relax. So relaxation doesn't necessarily come straight away. Try and breathe evenly into both lungs, even though the floor facing lung will feel restricted because of the bolster, but just still try to breathe evenly into both lungs. Just allow the body to release into the ground. So doing this restorative pose with gentleness. Just allowing the body to rest. If you're not comfortable, then you can adjust the position until you are. Keep breathing into both lungs evenly. Okay, bring the top arm back onto the hip. Push your bottom elbow down into the floor and then just bring yourself back up into cross legs. Just observing the energy that you've released through the pose. Maybe how the left side of the body feels different to the right side. Okay, just sit on the other side, so sit with the other hip close to the bolster, but not too close because you don't want the bolster in your waist, you want it in the armpit chest. So bending the knees, stretching across, bringing the shoulder down onto the floor, keeping the leg, keeping the arm in a little right angle. And then resting your head on the block and then extending the upper arm over the ear. So just adjust until you feel comfortable, because unless you feel comfortable, you won't relax. So once you have found your position of comfort, then allow yourself to just gently relax into the pose. So in this week running up to Christmas week, we have been doing quite a lot of floor work. It's a really nice way of grounding yourself. So this time of year can be really busy, so it's good to just slow down our practice a little so that we can ground ourselves. And so by grounding ourselves, we effectively give ourselves the opportunity to revive our energy, to restore ourselves, so that we can perform better during the day rather than just burning ourselves out. So give yourself some time to do nothing. I'm particularly guilty of being really bad at doing nothing. It gets to the weekend and I just enjoy the fact that I don't need to do any work, but then I'll write a blog for my website, which is work, but I'll do it at a different rate because it's a weekend. But nonetheless, I'm really not very good at doing nothing. So restorative yoga poses just provide that window of opportunity to do nothing. And the less you do in the restorative yoga pose, the more effective it becomes. Okay, bring the top hand back onto the hip, push your elbow into the floor, and then just bring yourself back up into cross legs. Just breathe evenly into both lungs, observing the energy that you've released through your practice so far. Okay, move the bolster and then get your blanket, and then if it's kind of folded up, this is quite badly folded up here, let me just fold it up better. So if it's folded up for kind of for your head, or you unfold it and then roll up the end of the blanket like a Swiss roll. So just about halfway. And that is going to go underneath the neck. So you're going to come down onto the back. You're going to use a bolster, but at this stage just come down onto the floor. You rest your neck in the Swiss roll. So just observe at first. Is that how this feels? Does it feel too big? Does it feel too small? It might feel a little unusual, but that's okay. Then you lift the seat bones. And then slide the bolster quite high up in your back. This just helps you to keep the chest lifted. So once you are there with the bolster, just feel, does the roll of the blanket provide good support for the neck? And then once you are in position, make sure that you cover yourself up. You're just going to keep your feet flat on the floor, keep your knees bent. I can't get into this blanket. Keep your knees bent, flat on the floor. And then you can just rest your arms to the sides of the body, or you can rest your arms over your head. But just resting your hands at the sides of the body is really good. So just get yourself comfortable, get yourself warm, and then allow the body just to release. So the support in the back of the neck feels really reassuring, really comforting. Just let the body release, let the body relax. Just let the body relax into the ground. So this pose really can soften the neck. So if you've got a stiff neck, this is a really good pose to help the release of the tension. Okay, much as it's lovely and we would probably like to stay here for much longer, just lift the seat bones, slide the bolster just so that it's underneath your legs. Just lift your head, unroll the blanket, just bring the blanket into the back of the neck, into the head, and then allow yourself, just make sure you're in a good straight line, allow yourself to release down into the floor. Just let the physical body release, let the muscles unhook from the bones. Allow the physical body to become heavy. But out of that heaviness, observe the sensation of irrepressible lightness that radiates pleasantly from the bones and into the muscles. Radiating from the bones into the muscles and into the organs. Spreading positive energy into the organs. Into the flesh and the skin. Use your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling of energetic lightness down into the toes and into the fingertips and up into the top of the head. Gently wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers. Bring yourself back into this pose of Shavasana. And then bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster, have the feet apart and the knees together, pressing your back into the floor. And then draw your knees in towards your chest. Have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. Just a gentle massage on the spine. And then gently roll over onto your right side. Stay down for a breath or two. And then stretch out the top leg. Come back up into a seated position. Just up into cross legs, just cross legs with your hands in Namaste. Just a final spinal lift. Draw the breath in through the nose and down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning. A good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the restorative reclining poses bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw chin down to meet your chest, lifting your chest up to meet your chin. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. To people and places and things that need our positive energy. Gently release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. Bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb, a gesture of wisdom, of physical intelligence and peacefulness that we can carry with us into our day as an intention. Gently raise your head. Allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So, hopefully you feel like you've really stretched yourself out, giving yourself good, positive energy to get into your day. Hopefully, if you had a stiff neck, it's feeling a little better. So thank you very much for joining me.